The Yachts for Sale blog YouTube channel, opening a window into the world of yacht brokerage. And today we're looking at three really amazing motor catamarans. They're all around the same size, but very different in every other way. The Sunreef Ultima 88, the JFA Long Island 86, and Latitude Yachts Laniakea 88. And we're going to start with Laniakea because she is genuinely one of the most technically interesting vessels I've seen in this size range in a long time. So let's start there. Laniakea is a 26.7 meter carbon fiber power catamaran built by Latitude Yachts in Riga, Latvia. And if you follow this channel regularly, you may already know the Latitude. These are the same people who brought us Galaxy and Galaxy of Happiness. They're extraordinary 53 meter trimarans. They're unusually shaped, brilliantly engineered, completely unlike anything else. So Laniakea carries really that same philosophy, but in a completely different format. Boat International described her as the world's first true sports catamaran. And I think that's the right way to describe it, really. The profile is immediately striking, low, geometric, angular, closer to a performance craft than a traditional motorcat. Everything about this yacht is built around one concept, and that's making her as light as possible and using that lightness to do things that other 26 meter cats really can't do. She's built entirely in carbon fiber composite, hull and superstructure. At full load, she weighs approximately 49.5 tons. Now, a GRP equivalent would weigh about 70 tons, an aluminium cat of the same size closer to 90 tons. So that weight advantage has a significant effect, right, on performance. Speed, fuel consumption, draft, maneuverability, they all benefit when you remove 20 to 40 tons from the equation. Her length is 26.7 meters, her beam 11.75 meters. And here's the number that really caught my attention. A draft of just 60 centimeters, 2 feet. That's extraordinary for a vessel of this size. Now, I've been following the construction of Laniakea on the Yacht Builders channel, and I have this dream of filming the finished yacht in the Bahamas, standing right next to a huge yacht, waist deep in water. I think that would really show off the low draft very, very well. The propulsion is 4 BMW engineered OXE 300 horsepower water jet drives, positioned outboard, which also frees up the hulls for more interior volume. Her top speed will be 26 knots, cruising speed 16 knots. She can also operate in silent mode for up to 6 hours with the jets shut down. The battery system takes over and she can be totally silent at anchor. Inside, the design is by Chulan Park, who you may know from the carbon fiber super yacht Kalila. And the aesthetic is pretty much what you'd expect from somebody whose reference points aren't really mainstream yachts. Minimalist, monochromatic, angular windows rather than curved, beige and cream tones with wood accents, blue details. The main salon integrates dining, lounging and the galley in a single open plan floor space flooded with natural light. There'll be accommodation up to 10 guests in 5 cabins, an owner's suite, 2 VIPs, 2 twins, plus of course crew quarters for 2. Solar panels are integrated into the superstructure, smart outboard systems for navigation, climate control and entertainment throughout. Now, Laniakea is available to purchase through Northrop & Johnson with an asking price of €7.5 million, due for delivery later this year, early next year. If you'd like more information, do drop a comment. The details are in the description. The Sunreef Ultima 88 is the most established name in this comparison, and Sunreef needs very little introduction. This Polish yard has been one of the dominant forces in luxury catamarans for over 2 decades, and the Ultima 88 is their current flagship power model. At 28.4 metres, she's slightly longer than Laniakea, has a beam of approximately 9.3 metres and a draft of 1.31 metres. Now, she's built in GRP rather than carbon fibre composite, which gives her a traditional proven construction method, but also means that she's a heavier vessel than Laniakea. What Sunreef have done exceptionally well with the Ultima 88 is the sustainability story. She combines custom engineered battery packs with hybrid propulsion and Sunreef's own solar skin system. And that's solar panels integrated directly into the superstructure rather than sitting on top of it, which is really a very clever piece of engineering. The brief on this yacht was to have no fumes, no vibration, no real carbon trace, and in electric mode, she does exactly that. The interior reflects that eco-philosophy: sustainable woods, recycled plastics, reclaimed fabrics, light-filled spaces designed to reduce the need for artificial lighting and air conditioning. Now it's time to play. The bulwark platforms fold out and the aft garage opens up for a full fleet of electric water toys. The engines on board are twin Volvo Penta 691 horsepower, giving a top speed of 20 knots, a cruising speed of 15 knots, and she can accommodate 10 guests in 5 cabins. Now this is a well-proven platform. The Ultima 88 is now into double figures on hull deliveries, which tells you something about the market's confidence in this product. And Sunreef's after-sales network is extensive, which I think is an important factor for an owner who wants continuity of support. The pricing for the Sunreef Ultima 88 is not publicly listed, but based on current market information, you should expect a figure of approximately €8.5 million. So that's around £1 million more than Laniakea. Now, JFA Yachts have one of the most interesting track records of any catamaran builder in the market. 30 new builds, 40 refit projects, and their motto, which I think tells you a lot about them, is "We don't build a yacht for a client, we build a yacht with a client." Now, the Long Island 86 power is 26.25 metres, with a beam of 11.9 metres and a draft of 1.6 metres. And where she differs most clearly from the other two is construction. She has an aluminium hull with a composite deck. Now, JFA are unusual among production catamaran builders in using this combination. They point to the strength, the durability and the repairability of aluminium as some of the reasons why they do it that way. But the interesting number with this yacht is the range, which we'll come to later. The naval architecture is by Mark Lombard Design Group, which is a name associated with pretty serious offshore performance vessels, and the interior is Darnett design. The flybridge version has a full helm station, a sheltered bar, and a large lounge with generous seating, all with spectacular sea views. You can also specify an enclosed wheelhouse layout if you prefer. The foredeck has a jacuzzi. The aft platform carries the tender and converts to a relaxation and water sports area. 8 guests in 4 cabins and up to 4 crew. Engines are 2 by 600 horsepower, top speed 15 knots, and a cruising speed of 12 knots. So she's not the fastest vessel in the group, but that's not really what the Long Island is about. JFA's history is built on yachts that go long distances, like WindQuest, NDS Evolution, which reached Antarctica. These are serious cruising machines. For a new build Long Island 86 power, the price is €10.5 million. So 3 very good motor cats, but with 3 very different philosophies. The JFA Long Island 86 is the serious long-range choice with an aluminium hull, French craftsmanship, the most experienced ocean-going DNA of the 3, and at 10.5 million euro, it's also the most expensive. For an owner, rather, whose ambitions are to go to the southern Pacific rather than the Balearics, it may be well worth it. The Sunreef Ultima 88 is the most established platform of the three. Proven hull, strong brand, outstanding eco-credentials, and a solar skin system that no one else offers. So at approximately 8.5 million euro, it's the middle price in the group. And then there's Laniakea, the lightest, the fastest, the shallowest draft, the most distinctive profile, built by a yard that has a history of doing things that are very different and doing them well. At 7.5 million euros, she's the most accessible price in the group. And as I mentioned earlier, she's available through Northrop & Johnson. So that combination of specification and value is, I think, really hard to argue with. So I'm interested, which of the three would you choose? Let me know in the comments, and if you'd like more information on Laniakea specifically, the details are in the description below. Now, we've got plenty more videos this week, which I think you'll find really interesting. As I'm sure you'll have noticed, many of these vlogs are sponsored by Keen Specialty Insurance. And this week, rather than sponsoring the vlog, they sponsored a podcast with somebody called Glenn Shepherd. Now, if you watch Below Deck, you may know Glenn Shepherd as having been one of the captains in quite a few of their series. I have a dim view of Below Deck, to be quite honest, but when I met Glenn, I really enjoyed talking to him, and he kind of changed my attitude considerably on what I think of that TV show. He's such a nice guy. It's a fantastic interview with somebody who really has sailed the world. And as a matter of fact, when I caught up with him, he was on his own personal sailing boat doing exactly that. That will be on the Yacht Podcasts channel, so look out for that when it's released this Friday. And then on the Saturday, we have the third in the CNET series of videos. Now, we've already done one video showing the delivery day of a 53-meter super yacht. We did a second one last month that was telling you really how the CNET co-ownership structure works. And this third one talks about how they got involved with the construction of that 53-meter super yacht. It's a fascinating video. It'll be published on this channel on Saturday. Make sure that you don't miss it, and you can do that if you haven't already done so by subscribing, and while you're at it, click the thumbs up, but a like as well.